Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Bonnie, and if you're new here, welcome. I am so excited to bring you today's video. I was not planning on doing this video series for a couple more weeks, but I was literally too excited and had to get this story started. So first of all, we're in the home of Cammy, who lives here with her husband and her 2 kids. And the way that we got connected to do this job is kind of a crazy story. So Cammy is someone I actually went to high school with. She was a year ahead of me, but as I dug a little deeper, I also found out we went to junior high together, and I do remember who she was, though we weren't friends, but that has nothing to do with how we got reconnected. So she's been following Mac from Midwest Magic Cleaning for quite a while, and he mentioned on one of his videos that he knew like 5 people in the entire world who do cleaning similar to what he does. And he mentioned one's in Utah, and she contacted him, asked who it was in Utah. He told her Bonnie from A Beautiful Mess, and then she contacted me, and we started connecting the dots, and bam, here I am cleaning her house. And she has quite a story, which you'll actually get to hear in her own words, because I inadvertently got it on camera in the background when she was telling her story to Lenita, who was my helper through this kitchen cleaning. And anyway, she was talking to her in the background, telling her the story, which I had already heard, but she was just catching her up on things. And yeah, I got Cammy's permission to use the story that she told in her own words. So I will let her tell it.
Anyway, so in 2017, it took years to get my daughter's diagnosis figured out, but the same month, my husband was diagnosed with narcolepsy, and my daughter was diagnosed with Asperger's, and I freaked out because the narcolepsy can be progressive, so I didn't know, like, is he going to be able to work, is he not? And I had a home-based business, and I was doing okay with it, but it was just additional money. And so I went back to school, and I went into really heavy classes, and you know, just did everything I could, but then, like, COVID happened, and then I got just crazy sick, and within a year, the last year and a half, we had to pull the kids out of school because I have a pacemaker. Oh. So, yeah.
Which is another miraculous story, which we'll get to, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's one thing at a time, yeah. Anyway, so I went back to school, and I was going to the nursing program at Weber State, and I had a scholarship, and I was doing all these things, and COVID happened, we pulled it out, I had to drop out of school, and then I just got sick, and I just got tired, and we couldn't figure out why, and no matter what I did, like the thyroid checked out, like, you know, all this other stuff, but they started noticing some vitamins were getting low, and so I take vitamin supplements, and I double up on the supplements, and it would help a little, but not enough. And then finally, I got my OBGYN last year to pay attention. I said, no, I've lost like 80 pounds without trying. And now it's 104.
My word.
Yeah, and in the last year and a half, it just like came off of me. And it was.
Do you want some of mine?
Isn't that like the opposite problem that usually is? 104 pounds in just a couple of years. That is crazy. I know that sounds probably pretty good to some of you, like Lenita, but this is not the way you want to lose 104 pounds. So I'll let her continue her story.
So anyway, I finally got my OB to like hear me and be like, no, that's not normal. And she got me into a internal medicine specialist that wasn't currently accepting new patients, and they figured out that my pancreas quit making digestive enzymes.
Okay.
So it just doesn't make stuff to digest protein or fat or like lactose or amylase or anything. So I would eat, but it would just
not stay with you.
Right, yeah, and so
You poop food.
Like,
Yeah,
I literally
even
would,
like,
yeah, it even would
get
look
digested.
like food still. Yeah, because I also had a blocked biliary duct too from a gallstone. I had a bad gallbladder for like 7 years before it was diagnosed. I'm starting to think I need better doctors. But so I throw up every day for 7 years, not knowing why, and thought it was because of something else that I had, and so yeah, it was awesome sauce. But anyway, so yeah, I just, yeah, it was a lot. Anyway, we finally figured out that, and then, but it had done like nerve damage, and stuff to my pancreas by that point. And so now we're figuring out that like I don't have peristalsis happening in all of my intestines, so it's like not moving the food through. And then on top of that, I may have something else, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, long story short, I had none of the fat soluble vitamins in my body, vitamins A, D, E, and K, which are really important for cognition, blood clotting, you name it. I was always covered in bruises and I didn't know why.
Are you okay if I throw these away?
Yes.
I think they're rusted beyond
Yeah.
saving.
Yeah, I didn't even know they were there.
Yeah,
so
I know.
go for it. And yet again, yeah, not a hoarder, just been too sick to move.
Yes.
And like couldn't crawl to the shower. And how do you tell anybody that? And especially
I apologize if the doing the dishes in the background is distracting. At the time, I had no idea I was going to be using the audio from this video to have her tell her story. But in the end, I thought, who better to tell her story than herself? Because she knows it better than anyone. She knows all the terms. She's very well spoken. So I just thought I'd let her tell it.
so that's kind of my story in a nutshell.
Well, I hope you
And-
know that Bonnie and I love this kind of thing.
Well, and I am so grateful.
Not your story.
Right, but
This is our this is like we were made for this. I feel like So, and you should never don't be embarrassed. Don't feel like we're
Judging it as
we're
we're going
just
through like.
I think all of us at some point in our life we need help with one thing or another. Yours can be more visual, others of us it's more inside, and it is. I hate asking for help. I hate asking for a ride.
Right.
I go through such anxiety just to get a ride somewhere sometimes. So I get it.
True.
But honestly, you're helping us back, huh, Bonnie?
Yeah.
I feel like you're providing some.
Well,
you are.
It like scratches an itch.
Yeah,
My brain
no, I get that. I totally
We
get
love
that.
taking something and making it better. We love taking something and making it like beautiful.
Yeah.
Like it's just our thing.
Yeah.
I realize that. And both Bonnie and I are so similar in that. And I'm like, we must have been like created, like, or at least God
Yeah.
knew we were like that and is now using us for good.
Yeah,
Here. So,
totally.
yeah.
My issue is just that I have constant nausea still, and we're still trying to figure out how to manage it. And so, like, I can't even really cook for my kids right now. And like,
How many
it's
kids do
really,
you have?
I have just two.
Again, we enjoy this, and even if we didn't, like, we're happy to help you.
Oh, I'm just
So,
grateful, and
thank you
I
for
want
being
to do anything I can to help pay it forward too.
So I am not as professional. I'm good at what I do, but I'm not totally professional like Bonnie. I've just done it. I've just had a lot of experience in this kind of stuff over the years too, but differently than Bonnie. So I will give you the best I can as well.
You're
And
great.
I'm hopefully gonna make it to make you feel so good when this is done.
I'm just grateful for anything because I keep thinking about my kids in this. And
Yeah. Which is sweet of you. And you should. People that don't care are who I'm gonna worry even more about, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But it's nice that you do care. Yeah, thank you for letting us, and I'm gonna jump in and start helping Bonnie, and you can just take care of you for a little bit.
I gotta sit down and
You
try to get
can.
more food in me.
Yeah.
Like I'm eating
No,
pickles
do.
because that's about all I can eat right now.
Okay, well there's pickles right there.
Yeah,
See?
that's yeah. That's where I got them from. So, but yeah, I just
Do whatever you need to do, and we will just be working on your stuff. So
I just thank you. Know how much I appreciate it, and I don't take anything for granted. And
yeah, I can tell you're a sweet person, and that
you're kind. Boy, have I got you fooled.
Well, no, no. I'm hard but
So here's just kind of an overview of what was happening in the background while they were talking. But I'm also so excited to be working with Lenita again. You guys might recognize her as Aunt Jane's niece from the video that I will link here on the screen if you didn't get a chance to see it. But she is so sweet and so easy to get along with. So
me to
my
start?
kind of plan was
Yes.
to, anything that doesn't fit in here is just to load all the dirty dishes. Just set them outside and we'll just bring in one, just to clear some space.
Yeah.
And then we'll just bring in one at a time to either wash my hand or throw in the dishwasher once that's done.
Okay.
So that was kind of fun. I also thought it might be kind of fun for you guys to have sort of an immersive experience. Kind of like you're there and this is the plan from the beginning as we're talking to the homeowner, because I know the cleanings that I do are a lot different than like Max or Barbie's, where often the homeowners are present with me while I'm cleaning. And I was so thankful in this case that Cammy was there to sort of direct us on things and what she wants to keep, what can be gotten rid of, things like that. But there's pros and cons to both. And really, I would love to someday be able to get into a home that just needs to be cleared out, maybe after a homeowner has passed away and it's like a hoarded home or something. But someday I will be able to do that. For now, these are great because I do like working with the homeowners as well. And I love that Cammy is willing to allow her story to be told by herself, and that she's hopefully helping others to go to bat for themselves, for their own health, because sometimes doctors miss things and we have to be proactive about some of the mystery illnesses we might have and really make sure that things are getting followed up on.
I seriously really do remember you. Like when I saw you in that in the Woods Cross sweater, I was like, oh my gosh, it took me right back. And I think it's because I'm a visual person.
That is so funny.
Yeah, but it was just like I can hear your voice and I can remember interacting with you.
That's amazing.
Crazy.
Okay, so while you admire the quick speed with which Lenita clears this table, speaking of high school, I wanted to see if anybody recognizes this guy who went to my high school. Because the first time I saw him in this movie, the one that kind of made him famous, I was like, oh my gosh, he went to my high school. And anyway, I'm just curious to know how many of you had to go look him up, or if you actually do recognize him. And if you do recognize him, tell me the name of the movie you recognize him from. I like to highlight some of our mishaps, which one of mine will be coming up. And if the audio looked a little bit off on that, that's because I took the audio from my phone video and tried to link it up with my 360-degree camera footage. So that's why it might look a little off. So as I mentioned in the beginning, we are just filling up totes with some of these dirty dishes to get them out of the way and just taking those outside. And then we'll bring them back in one at a time to either put them in the dishwasher or wash them by hand as we kind of get things a little bit clearer here. So almost have the table cleared off at this point. Yay! Oh, and we also have some food totes and totes for just other miscellaneous items. And incidentally, these totes that we're using came from Lenita's Aunt Jane. So thank you, Aunt Jane. They were very useful. And now I'm going to try to get some of these stuck-on Legos off of this counter.
Just thank you. Seriously.
All that away back. A boss of mine taught me this. She's like, somebody taught her just to kind of like sweep everything into like a pile and then just deliver.
Why not? Totally. Why not?
So.
Oh my gosh, you're already doing mantles.
Doing what?
You're already doing mantles.
Oh,
seriously.
Well, we did just take a couple totes outside, so it's not taken care of yet, but
No,
hey,
but
there's still progress.
Yeah. Already being started. You know what I mean? Like,
I just wanted to leave that little bit of gratitude in there from her, just so you can see why it's so easy to help her. I was joking with Lenita that I run on Pepsi and gratitude, and that just keeps me going. So this is definitely going to be a home that we will continue to go back to and help her some more. I don't know how far we'll get, but I would love to help her as much as possible. I didn't want to talk over those awesome scrubbing sounds, but I did want to mention a couple things. So this is Dawn Power Wash that I used on this table, and it's not suggested to use it on wood if it's not finished. And this table has been around for a while, as you can tell, but some of the finish has come off, and so it can dull the rest of the finish, but I did shine it up with some liquid gold at the very end. I also use a razor scraper here in just a sec, right here. And again, I would not recommend this if it's like a brand new table or has a nice finish. This is an older table and there were some really stuck on things on there. So I wasn't worried about ruining a finish because it was already pretty much ruined. And she does plan on replacing this at some point or refinishing it. So I wasn't too worried about it. Oh, and also just a note with the liquid gold here, I've also used this on my own table at home, and it can leave a nice finish for a little while, but it doesn't seem to soak in that well, so I just wouldn't rub up against it, or maybe give it a really good wipe down a couple different times just to get a lot of the oil off. But I'm guessing Murphy's oil soap may have even worked better. But here's just a quick before and after of that table.
Yeah, this is that stage. Nobody would want to live like this. Nobody would want to subject their kids to this if they love them like I love my kids. Yeah. Ever. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm just grateful for women helping women because that's what you guys are doing. Yeah, can you believe this? Bonnie's a miracle worker.
And Juanita.
They're both angels.
Yeah.
They're doing the work of angels. Oh, is that a drill bit? That's so me.
I'll rinse it real quick. Yeah.
Sorry about the shaky camera there for a second, but I wanted you to catch what she was saying, and I hit record and then got my camera in place. And then I wasn't quite sure where to throw these pictures in here, but I just wanted you to see the car accident she had when she was 26, in which they found out that she needed a pacemaker after years of not knowing what was going on with her heart and never catching it until this car accident. And so that was her in the hospital getting her pacemaker. And this is a family picture from just a few years ago, and I will show you the stark contrast between then and now. This is a picture of the three of us together just a few days ago, so you can see how much weight she has lost. And the condition she has is called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which I will put in the description if you want to learn more about it. Okay, it's soaking.
Some of this is so sticky too, but...
Yeah, I know, and that's why I was thinking it would be nice to have. Oh!
I'm sorry.
I cannot believe how much I've done that lately. Okay, I'm going to give you a warning to look away for about 10 seconds if you have an issue with looking at stuff that resembles vomit, because this ended up looking a lot like dog puke or something when I got it all together. So I think you're good now if you want to open your eyes. But it does work really well using this razor scraper with the Dawn Power Wash. I think the razor scraper is my favorite tool and Dawn Power Wash is my favorite cleaner, at least for the kitchen. So those two together, magical. I could not get the sprayer to work on this bottle. So this is just APC, or all-purpose cleaner, that I'm putting on this countertop to disinfect it. You might want to check if you have marble countertops, if it's safe to use that kind of thing on there, because I know they have very special things that you have to use on marble countertops and things that you can't use. But anyway, I just wanted to show you what Lanita was working on in the background while I was cleaning the countertops. I kept forgetting to tell Cammy this, and so she still doesn't know, but we have the exact same countertops. This is a picture of some raspberries that I picked sitting on my countertop, and you can see they're exactly the same. It kind of felt like I was cleaning my own house. Okay, the first load of dishes is done, so we're unloading it and getting a new load in there before we eat lunch. So Cammy went and picked up some lunch for us. Is how you say it. And I wanted to get some dishes going before we sat down to eat, because why not? Let time work for us. So that's what we're doing right here. Just hurrying, getting it loaded before we take a break and eat some lunch. Then after lunch, we decided to assess the cupboard situation and what we were going to need to pull out, make room for, because she's like, it kind of just needs an overhaul of all of these cabinets. And so a lot of them have just been a mishmash of different things that have been thrown in there. So anyway, we started with this cabinet, which made most sense for the dishes to go. So we got those spices and everything out of there, removed everything, wiped it down with Dawn Power Wash, of course, and put it all back in a little more organized fashion. And then did the same thing to the other side where we put all the cups and things. If you guys want to support these free cleanings that I do, the easiest way you can do that is to be subscribed to my channel. So go hit that subscribe button and then hit that bell underneath it to get all notifications. Hit that thumbs up for this video. And then I do have memberships available. If you're able to afford it, please do not do this if you cannot afford it, but it's just a little extra way you can support these free cleanings. And I give you extra videos 2 to 3 times a month. But at the very least, if you would just subscribe and turn on those notifications, I would be so grateful. So here's just a super quick time lapse of that whole thing again. And by the way, I did sanitize these shelves as well after the power wash, but and then just the other side, which I didn't get a close up of, but we did get that cupboard organized as well. And I will show you some before and afters after we finish up this sink area. By the way, this video is only going to cover day 1 of cleaning the kitchen. I have already filmed days 2 and 3, which will be in the next video. But I really just wanted to tell her story in this first one, show you a little bit of what we got done on the first day, and then we'll finish the kitchen in the next video. So all of this rusty stuff you see me rinsing out of the sponge is actually SOS pads. And if you don't know what those are, they're like Brillo pads with soap infused in them. So they've just disintegrated. They're on the countertop, and that's what I'm wiping up. The other thing that you guys may not have, and in fact, I think it's banned in some countries, is are garbage disposals. And I love them personally. I know that a lot of people find them very dangerous, but I love them. They just grind up the food so you don't have to wipe it out of the sink and throw it in the garbage. I find them very convenient. It's something that I cannot wait to show Colleen whenever we get her over here for a collaboration, which I really would love to do either in the fall or early next year. And if you don't know who Colleen is, I will link her channel. She's from Colleen Cleans. And she just passed 10,000 subscribers. She is the sweetest, kindest person ever. And she has the best accent because she's from the Netherlands, so she's just fun to listen to. Anyway, you are going to love her, so go check her out, please. And another person I wanted to shout out this week is Heather from Heather's Haven. She does some free cleanings as well. She also has some other kinds of videos, but I always love to support any of these channels that do the free cleanings, because the more people we can get doing this, the better, because I think it's such a needed service. So go check her out. I will link her channel as well. And now I will be quiet because I'm about to use some Barkeeper's Friend on this sink, and that always has some great scrubbing sounds. So here you go. The only thing with using Barkeeper's Friend is I do feel like you have to rinse it really well afterwards because it does leave a slight film, but if you just use a little bit of Dawn on it afterwards or just rinse it really good, it gives a great shine. Love it. And anything that I'm using in my video today, you can find in the video description. Those little narrow crevice brushes that you see me using are worth their weight in gold, and they're very cost effective. I mean, it is not expensive at all to get those. So check those out too. They're amazing. Anyway, this is where we're going to end today. I'm going to give you some before and afters of the things that we were able to finish this first day, but it's not going to be perfect, guys. So here is kind of the in-betweens of all the cleaning of that counter. Looks marvelous after. A side-by-side shot of that cupboard to the left of the sink, and then the plates and dishes cupboard. Okay, and then here is what is coming up next in this kitchen. And I'm not going to say it's going to be next week because next week may be the house from Illinois that Mac and I worked on together, but it might be this kitchen too. I haven't decided yet, but just wanted to give you a little sneak peek of what's coming up in this kitchen. So thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. Thanks for your support. Remember to like and subscribe and all that. I really appreciate it. Have a great week. Bye, guys. Hi everyone, welcome back to A Beautiful Mess. My name is Bonnie and I'd like to welcome you if you're new here. And what I do primarily on this channel is clean homes for free for people who are struggling with some kind of challenge in their life, whether that be mental health or a physical challenge, whatever that might be. But often in these circumstances, they are not able to afford these kind of services, so I provide them for free. And this is actually the second installment of this kitchen. So if you missed the first one, I will link it on the screen here if you wanted to start there. But this is the home of Cammy, and just as a quick recap, she has something called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, and her husband also has narcolepsy, and between the two of them they have some very severe health challenges, a lot of medical problems, and the last few years have been pretty rough on them. One of the more recent developments in Cammy's situation is that she has had to have a feeding tube placed because she's malnutritioned. Her body is basically eating itself. And anyway, she needed to have that placed in order to give her some nutrition and get some of the vitamins and things replaced in her body. So, and then I also wanted to include this picture of her husband asleep on the ladder, because this is just one of the many places that Cammy has found her husband asleep from his narcolepsy, which is very severe, very debilitating. And we're going to talk a lot more about that today in this video, because there were a lot of people wondering in the last video, the first video, whatever, about why the husband wasn't stepping up and helping more. And there is a reason for it. So we will get into that in just a little bit. Thank you, barkeepers. Just for fun, let's try this. Nice. So I will be joined by Lanita a little bit later in this video, and we're going to be washing a lot of dishes in this one, because if you remember from the first one, what we did was just put all of the dirty dishes into totes and took them outside, and then we brought back one tote at a time to either put in the dishwasher or to wash by hand. So This is where we're washing a whole bunch of this by hand while the dishwasher's doing its job and washing some of the smaller stuff. And by the end of this day, we had everything washed, put back into clean totes, and we took it to the living room to make space in here because there are still cupboards that we will pull things out of to create room to put this back. And there was a lot of decluttering that also needed to happen. So there will be some of that in here as well. And some of this stove cleaning. So if you saw me take a garbage bag off of there, yes, that is really what that was. Rather than putting plastic wrap on this, I just sprayed it with some Easy Off oven cleaner and then put a garbage bag over it because it does the same kind of thing as putting saran wrap over it, keeps it moist. And I left that overnight, came back the next day. This was a lot easier to get off than it otherwise would have been. So that's what you see me doing here. There were still multiple passes that had to be made on this because it had been quite a while since it had been cleaned. So I try a few different products on this, including the pink stuff, and then I end up finding some Wyman gas and grill cleaner, I think is what it's called, and try that on it as well because some of this was pretty difficult to get off, even with the razor. I do wish I had my smaller razor with me, but I could not find that. I did end up finding it in one of my totes and did have it with me all along, but unfortunately I couldn't find it right here. So just had to make do with my big razor scraper. So I'm just showing you some of this stuff that was more difficult to get off, and I decided to try the pink stuff on it. So here's just an aerial view of that, and then a bit more up close view. I had to give my smiley face some eyebrows because I'm always a little sad that they don't have eyebrows because that's where a lot of the expression is. Look what I found that she has that I should have used, but we're going to see how the pink stuff did and then use this if we still need it. Before I get too far in this video, I did want to take a minute just to say thank you so much for all of the very kind messages you guys sent after I posted my video of sort of the struggle I'm going through right now, the burnout, all that. You guys sent some of the most wonderful messages, and even though I'm trying not to reply to a lot of them, and I haven't even made it through all of them because there were over 2,000. You guys are amazing. I just thank you for that outpouring of love. I really appreciate my community. You guys made me feel seen, and I just appreciate you all so much. It's really hard to tell if that is ruined finish or baked on food. So we're gonna try the Wyman, and if that doesn't work, we're just gonna have to call this good. Before I forget to mention, I am going camping this weekend with my family, Saturday, Sunday, Monday at Capitol Reef. So if anybody's in Utah, goes to Capitol Reef, come find me. But I mentioned that just because I am going to schedule this to be released on Sunday. And so though I'm not really replying extensively to comments anymore, even doing the little heart on them will probably have to wait until I get back on Monday, unless I happen to have Wi-Fi and can sort of keep up on it here and there while I'm down there, because it does stress me out less to just stay on top of it actually than to have it all pile up. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, let's see how this did. Ooh. I think it actually worked really well. Okay, I promised I would talk more about Cammy's husband's narcolepsy, and I'm just going to read a little bit of what she actually wrote down about it. So here's what she says. She says, my husband works for a nonprofit with computers and has several health challenges of his own. He has 4 conditions that cause chronic fatigue as well as an anxiety disorder, 2 endocrine deficiencies creating low energy and sleep apnea. But worst of all is his severe narcolepsy with comorbid cataplexy, which is when he instantly goes limp from sudden sounds or strong emotions. He's no slouch, and luckily his narcolepsy does have an aura before most attacks hit, but he needs about 4 to 5 naps a day to hold down a job. Some of this can be managed with medications, but only so much. Our insurance pays 4 figures a month for just one of them, and without it, he can fall over instantly, crumpled on the ground like a rag doll. I won't tell you all the interesting places I have found him sleeping, but they include ladders and standing up at an outdoor Muse concert. And then she goes on to say a little bit after this, my husband is mom and dad right now, and my kids have had me sick or in school for almost as long as they have had me healthy. Goodness in a man is the most attractive feature he can possibly have, and he sizzles with it. Can you imagine what he has been through doing all this and losing the only cook in the house that knew where anything was? So those are just some of the challenges her husband has been dealing with. But on top of that, both of the kids have also had some challenges as well. So I'm going to take a little break here, give my voice a rest, enjoy some cleaning sounds for a second, and then we'll jump into that. Oh, I did want to point out right here real quick what I do with jelly roll pans or cookie sheets, whatever you call them, when they've got stuck on stuff like this is I just put a little dish soap on there, tiny bit of water, and then just stack them just so it squishes the water out more flat. And anyway, just let it soak that way and comes off really easily if you just let it soak for a minute. Oh, and does Lanita look like she is dressed to be cleaning? She looks absolutely adorable, too adorable to be cleaning with me in white shorts and a yellow shirt. Well, I have a yellow shirt too, so I can't say anything about that, but she was all dressed to go to, she had just come from her husband's work function, and so she didn't change before she came, and so she looked too cute to be cleaning in this. And a lot of what's going on here you'll get to see a bit more close up because we're just pulling everything out of drawers and getting it washed because as you can see, it's pretty dirty in there. This is how mine gets too. All those crumbs just fall into the silverware drawer and pile up. And so every once in a while, it's nice to just get everything out of there, dump out all those crumbs and or vacuum them out, whatever you choose to do. And we wanted to be thorough, so we took everything out to get it washed, or at least check it. If it was clean enough, we left it as is, but we washed a lot of this stuff just to make sure it was all clean. But a lot of this stuff is what you'll see Cammy decluttering alongside Lanita later. Okay, we'll get back to what some of the challenges Cammy's children are also dealing with. So she wrote up a little bit of this as well, so I'll just read some of that. So she says, my oldest is on the autism spectrum as well as has ADHD. She's super talented, creative, bright, and funny. I've missed so much of my sweet kiddo's life because I couldn't get out of bed, and I know it has made a huge hole in her life. Because of her neurodivergent diagnosis, she struggles with sensory input, and any change at all has to click perfectly into place to make it palatable for her. Until 2022, she had been in outpatient full-day programs for 3 years, and we are still paying for them. I drove half an hour each way to pick her up and drop her off. My son is in the upper grades of elementary school and has very sensitive hearing as well as anxiety. If he didn't get that from both his parents biologically, finding me unconscious on the kitchen floor in January would have eventually, I'm sure. Poor, sweet, kind little guy. He has a heart of gold, and I was hoping to take him to his first trip to Disneyland this fall. For a while, I totally thought I was getting better and it would be absolutely doable. He told me he knows we can't this year and not to worry about Legoland because he just wants me to be better. I think my heart shattered into about 1,000 pieces. But at the end of the day, my kids have had enough to eat, clean clothes, and know they are loved. They get decent grades and know they are important to both of their parents. The looking glass principle states that kids believe what they think their parents' opinions of them are. I've always strived to be the looking glass that reflects back love, capability, validation, kindness, honesty, the ability to apologize, humor, frankness, and conscientiousness. I don't always succeed, but I got a lot of practice growing up as the oldest kid in my family to break me in a bit. So hopefully that gives you a bit more perspective on this family situation and why things have built up to the state that they were in when I first got there, and that this is not a matter of laziness and them wanting to live this way, but really just being in a state of overwhelm from years and years of challenging things they've been dealing with. So here is the end of that third day, I think it was. I don't even remember anymore, but this is where we ended on that day. And this is the beginning of the next day. So, and I wanted to point out that that weird thing you see right there is actually my 360-degree camera. I figured somebody would ask me what that was. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. That is my camera. It just looks funny from this angle. Okay, I'm moving on to the oven. I always get stove and oven mixed up. Does anybody else do that? I call them, an oven a stove and a stove an oven sometimes. But anyway, this is something that I also sprayed down with Easy Off the night before. I think it was actually 2 nights before. So it sat there for 2 nights because I did not have time to do it the next day and thought I'll just get to it the day after and just told her not to use her oven. I also need to amend something that I said in a prior video that I was wrong about. And I will fully admit that I was wrong. But in the one where I'm cleaning Nancy's kitchen and I talk about how the drawers on ovens are actually warming drawers or are supposed to be used for warming, but most people use them for storage. Well, that's not correct, apparently. Somebody did tell me when I was probably in my 20s, I'm not even sure who it was, but they told me that those drawers are for warming things, and they're not. Actually, most of them are just for storage, but in this oven that I'm cleaning here, she does actually have a warming drawer. So it has a button that says warming drawer, and she uses it all the time for letting rolls rise and things like that. But my apologies, I did not mean to lead you astray. Keep on using those drawers for storage. And if you are new to my channel and have not heard me talk about all of the reasons that I do not use the self-clean feature on self-cleaning ovens, I will just lay it out here for you real quick, because the last video I did where I talked about these things, many people also added their own horror stories of what has happened to them or to their ovens, and it just has confirmed to me that, I will never ever use it again. But number one, I cannot handle the smell of the fumes and stuff that come from it. There's a lot of carbon monoxide that gets released when you're using that feature. By the way, side note, this is the warming drawer that I am cleaning here. I'm sure you guessed. But anyway, another reason I don't use self-clean feature is that it is a fire risk because of how hot it has to get. And if it's like too close to the wall, it can cause a fire. And somebody told me about an instance where it almost caused a fire in their home. And then the last thing I'll mention here is that it can fry the components in your oven. So appliance repair people will tell you not to use it because it can actually damage the components in your oven, which is so weird. Why do they even make the feature if it just is going to fry the components? So you'll buy a new oven, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, that's frustrating that they know it can damage the components and yet they still put the feature on there. Not cool. Lenita. Amazing Lenita. Get all of our categories here. And we still have to sort that. And that. I keep hitting the bottom of this. There we go. Oh, beautiful Anita. So while I finish cleaning the oven, Lenita's going to be working with Cammy on the items that she wants to keep and what she wants to donate. Because the cool part about this is that Lenita actually has a friend who works with an organization who sets up women who have been abused or in abusive relationships and they're starting all over with nothing, and sets them up with the things that they need for kitchen and bedroom, just basically imagine starting with nothing. And those are the types of things that she takes, and it was so nice to be able to have that option to donate to, because it sure makes things a lot easier to let go of when you know it's going to a good cause, or that somebody is really going to appreciate it. So I was thankful for that. Okay, right here I'm just showing you how I get in those little cracks and crevices that are hard to get to sometimes. And all these little detail brushes are available in my affiliate links in the video description. And that's one way that you can support my channel, is by using those links. And it doesn't cost you any extra. It's just one simple way to support my channel. I also want to thank all of my new members on my channel, because there were a lot this last week. And that's a lot thanks to Bonnie Hassan, my beautiful Bonnie that calls me her Eptist. But she mentioned that that's one way that you can support my channel, is by joining as a member, and a lot of you did. So I really, really appreciate that. And if you can't afford to become a member, please don't. The easiest way that you can support my channel and these free cleanings is just by simply liking these videos, commenting, subscribing, and then watching my videos, including maybe even an ad or two.
If you did decide, oh my gosh, I really do need one more thing of this, that's what birthdays and Christmas
Right, or Dollar Store.
or Mother's Tree, or Mother's Day, or the Dollar Tree.
Yeah,
That's right.
Dollar Tree works too.
I just wanted you to hear just a bit of the decision-making process here.
All the ones that are that are perpendicular to these can go.
Okay.
I'm still probably gonna do another pass on these.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
So this is perfectly shaped to go with my KitchenAid mixer, like for scraping aside.
Yep. I don't want you to regret anything, so don't leave in my mentality. You don't have to listen to. You make your own decisions about this
This can move on. I am making my own decision, and here's the thing. By and large, I'm not emotionally attached to any of this. That's who I was before I got sick. and I want to get back to that girl, and I'm not going to buy any new projects. That's my rule. No new projects. And I will be judicious on the ones I keep that I've already got.
We may have like 50 dreams, but you suddenly have to realize, okay, you know what? My body can't do what it used to.
Right.
Well,
and that's what
my
happened to
time
me.
is different than it used to when I had that dream or that vision or that project I wanted to do. So I think have a few,
Totally.
But I'm not as creative as everyone else. So sometimes people are like, I don't know. But I'm just saying, it's better to just. It's better to have a few to be able to get done than 50 and don't even do one.
Right, exactly.
Because you're too overwhelmed.
Or be spread too thin to do anything.
Exactly.
Well. You're absolutely right. As we age, we're not able to do as much, which is a bummer. But I've seen that happen in real time in the last 2 years of my life.
Yeah, things
very
change.
clear.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be hampered down by things. That's what got me into this mess.
And here's a lot of whisks.
Okay. Yeah, I love whisks, but I use these for hair dye. After that, I don't need any more whisks.
Okay, and I don't have any more that I'm aware of.
No, and if I find any more, they get probably volunteered to go away.
If you came to my channel looking for a bunch of cleaning tips and organizing tips, that is only part of why I do this channel. I will throw those in every once in a while. For instance, with this microwave, I put in a mug of water and a little bit of vinegar. I don't have an exact ratio for you, but just put a little bit of vinegar in it and I stick it in there for like 5 minutes just to soften everything up, and it comes out a lot easier. But you could also do the same thing with Mr. Clean Freak or Dawn Power Wash. Just spray it on there, let it sit for, 10 minutes or so, and then it's a lot easier to wipe down. But anyway, that is not actually the main reason I wanted to do this channel. It was more to create some compassion and understanding around people going through difficult times, and just to open your eyes to the fact that there are probably a lot of people around you, strangers, family, friends, who may be going through something similar to a situation like this, and you might not even know. So if we could just treat people as though they're going through something hard like this, chances are they probably are dealing with something difficult in their lives. It might not be to this extent where both parents are sick and the kids also have their own challenges, but I think everybody has hard things. So just treat each other with kindness. I'm not perfect at it, but I'm getting better. And especially as I do more of these homes and understand some of the reasons behind why homes can become unmanageable. I also think it's important to remember that we don't all deal with things in the same way, because you might go through this exact same thing and think, oh, I would have called family in, or I would have called a housekeeper in to take care of things before it got to this point. But we don't have all the information. We don't know what's going on with the family, if there is family around, if they have burned through their finances because of medical bills. I mean, it can be a million different things. So we all deal with things differently, and no two situations are going to be exactly the same. Okay, see these streaks right here? I was so bugged. I really wanted to be able to take this door apart and get in there to take care of those streaks. But as I started to take it apart, I realized this was one of those that was kind of harder to get back together, and I did not want to be dealing with that. So I just left the streaks there, and if they want to clean it at a future point, great, but it did drive me crazy a little bit. Doesn't that look so much better? Okay, here's just a little bit of the organization that we started in the drawer, but there was still a lot more to go through, so we don't finish it on this day. There will be more in the next one of some of the drawer organization and cabinets and things like that. So that's a fun one. And we're also going to tackle the pantry. I'm not sure if that's going to be in the same one or two different ones. I mean, I don't want to drag this out forever, but I also don't want to make the longest video in the world. I'm trying to hit a sweet spot around 30 to 40 minutes because it seems like that's what most of you will watch. So that's what I'm going for. And I normally wouldn't spend this many days in a row in a kitchen, but there were a couple of reasons for that. First, there was a ton of stuff to go through, but you can see by the amount of stuff that she has that this is something that she loves to do. She loves to cook, bake, all of that stuff, and she's that's kind of her happy place. So I usually try to pick something that's important to them and give them back that portion of their life. I mean, she's got a lot of interests. So I've not even seen her craft room, but apparently it's got some work to do. So I don't know if we'll make it to there, but it is something that I think would be fun if I can do it. The only problem is that it's not like she lives super close to me. So we'll just have to see what happens with that, because I am trying not to overextend myself and promise too much. I'm learning. I love cleaning stainless steel fridges. So I just took a wet, damp rag, that doesn't mean, it's either wet or it's damp. Anyway, it was a damp rag and just got off all of the crustier stuff, and also used a razor scraper to get off any of the hard water, and then used Wyman stainless steel cleaner to shine it up. Looks beautiful. Okay, get ready for some after photos. These are going to be progress, not perfection videos and photos, because this looks amazing right now. But, you know, it's not perfect. We only swept the floor. We did not mop it because we ran out of time that day and had to move on. But it does look amazing. Don't look at the background because there's stuff we have not gotten to, but this is the table area. Looks so much better. This is I don't know if this is my favorite or the island. I'm just a sucker for a good before and after. So just keep this in mind. This is what it looks like when it's all cleaned up, but we are going to reclutter it in the next one because we're going to have to be pulling out all the stuff from the cabinets and cleaning those, putting back only the things that she's keeping. There's still the pantry to go through, so we're going to use these clean surfaces to put that stuff on and then re-clean them. So this is what it will look like in the end, but even more organized within the cabinets. So I can't wait to show you that. And I'll just show you a little bit of what's coming up in the next episode. I don't know what to call it. Installment? Yeah, sure. But we're gonna hit this lazy Susan in the corner. Here's the pantry. Can't even walk into it. Part of that is our fault because we did push some stuff in there in order to just make some room for now, but this currently is looking amazing. I can't wait to show you. And that's all for now. So I'm going to try to relax hard this weekend while camping. And then I am just going to take it easier for the next couple of weeks. But I still will have a video for you because I've got plenty of footage to still make videos while I'm just taking a break from cleaning. So anyway, thank you guys so much for your support. We will see you on the next one. Bye, guys. Hi guys, welcome to A Beautiful Mess. My name is Bonnie and this is the third video in this series of this kitchen where my helpers and I are helping Cammy and her family for free to get their kitchen back under control. And it will probably hit other parts of the house as well, but right now we're focusing on the kitchen because there is a lot to do here. So in this video, we're going to be focusing on the pantry and several cupboards, pulling everything out, wiping everything down, and then putting back just the things that Cammy is keeping, because there's not enough room for everything. So she is paring down a lot of this stuff, and we'll get it a little bit more organized for her so she can actually use her kitchen again. But also this video is going to be a little different, where you're going to hear a lot from Cammy herself. I had her talking in the background on my very first video, but this one she's talking directly to you. She wanted to express appreciation to my viewers for the ways that you have helped her. And then she also wanted to talk directly to those who might be in a similar situation and struggle asking for help, but why it's so important to do that sooner than later and not to wait. So I'm going to let you enjoy some scrubbing sounds here for a second, because these are great scrubbing sounds. So, and then we'll get to her message. I have a subscriber that calls the sped up scrubbing sounds buzz scrubbing, and I love that term because it fits. It just sounds like buzzing. So real quick, before we get to Cammy's message, I just wanted to tell you how I cleaned this. So it was just Dawn Power Wash. I used a Still Daddy scrub sponge. It's actually the generic version, but that's in my video description. And then a microfiber cloth to rinse it off. I rinsed it a couple times and then followed it up with some all-purpose cleaner just to sanitize it. So, but obviously this is not totally clean. I'm sure if I use some bleach or something, I could probably get those stains off, but also it's just, we're just trying to work quickly and do the best we can and get as much done as we can. So I just made sure it was sanitized at least. Okay, here is the first of Cammy's messages. There's going to be a few throughout this. I just kind of broke it up so that it's not one continuous message, but here's the first one from her.
Hi, I'm Cammy. I am the subject of some of Bonnie's most recent videos. I've had a lot going on and it's been really super difficult, but I want to thank everybody who's been so supportive. I wanted to offer more information on my situation and my family to help viewers understand basically the desperation of other people like me and people in the situation needing this kind of help, and how it happened to me. I'm the last person I would have thought would be in this situation. And inform others who might be facing similar challenges, especially health-wise, because the doctor only knows what you tell them. And then also I want to empower viewers to be their own best advocates with helpful information and links. My challenge that I foresee in doing this is that it's a little bit of a long story, so I'll try to be succinct, but it's kind of fraught with some medical nightmares, and I really want to keep somebody from having to go through this. I didn't get here overnight, and it's my goal to try to say this as succinctly as I can, but I'm so blessed and grateful, and if I didn't use this to help someone else, I would be remiss.
So I'm not exactly sure what kind of links I'll be able to provide in this video description, because I'm not sure how some of those work. So some of them may be in the next video, or I might have to add them later, but I'll put as many helpful links as I can to help those out there who might need a little bit of advice on advocating for themselves. Okay, it might be a little silly that I included this in here, but I was once working with a lady on her house who always stopped to pause whenever she saw the number 1111. So when it came up on the clock, like it does right here, I just happened to catch it on camera. It was just kind of a time to pause and reflect and just take a deep breath and slow down. So I've just kind of started practicing doing the same thing. Okay, here's just a quick before and after of that Lazy Susan area. And then I wanted to show you that these shelves are adjustable. So that's where we started. And then there's just a screw that you undo and you can move those shelves up and down. So if you didn't know that, check for the little screw underneath, and it's really easy to just move up and down if you need to have more space on one shelf for whatever reason. So, okay, now we are going to clear out this pantry, pull everything out, or almost everything out, and go through it just to see what we've got here. And this is going to be one where we do go through the best by dates and get rid of anything that is over what she is willing to eat, because there are some people who don't mind eating the expired food. In fact, a lot of food does not actually expire. It's just there is a best by date, and then after that date, it either just doesn't taste as good or it's not as nutritious. So in this case, we did keep most of the canned food, even if it was past the best by date, unless it was acidic. That is one exception. If it's dented or acidic, it does go bad. You probably don't want to eat it after the best by date. So anyway, just some general guidelines on that. Okay, right here, I'm just showing you that we started to pull out some of this stuff to organize it. This is some of the spices and baking stuff, things like that. And then we decided, you know what, we're just going to keep this for the next time, because the whole spice cabinet and baking stuff was its own situation. There was a lot of it, and some of it was in the pantry, some of it was in different cupboards. So we just thought we'll save that for another day, because there was a lot to go through. So that will be in the next video. Okay, so there is a lot going on in this kitchen, especially where I've got two helpers in this video. So while Lanita and I are trying to figure out the best place to put some of these appliances and other things, the best cupboards to fit them into, Sydney is pulling out everything from the pantry and trying to organize it a little bit as it comes out. So, and if you are new to my channel and haven't seen the videos that have featured Sydney as one of my helpers before, there's like 3 or 4 other videos where she's been one of my helpers, and she's been MIA for a little while because she's had her own set of challenges. So I won't go into all of those, but she's had a lot going on. So I was happy to have her back as one of my helpers again. And this is something that does not come naturally to her, cleaning and organizing. So it's one of the reasons I wanted to have her help me, was to learn some of these skills. So she gets a little better with each one that we clean together, and she's doing great. Okay, here are some before and afters of this cupboard. So we got rid of a lot of stuff in there. And then this isn't the best before and after, but it does show that, you know, we did organize that a little bit better. But she is also going to be ordering some inserts for those cupboards to make things a little bit easier to manage. Okay, here's the next little bit from Cammy, the next little message that she had for you guys. And she recorded these in different segments, so she does introduce herself again, but just so I could kind of pick and choose what I wanted to use in my video. So that's why.
Hi guys, I am Cammy, and I am the incredible shrinking woman according to Bonnie, and I think she's the incredible one, but I wanted to offer a little bit more information in just hopes that maybe my situation could help someone, anyone, avoid some of the challenges I've had, but also to encourage them to ask for help, because the people Bonnie helps are usually in a deep place of shame because of their situation. And I got into my situation because of many things I couldn't help, but a lot that I could, and I judged myself for that. And that made it so much harder to ask for help. But you know, I've learned that I'm not alone. I'm so not alone. And I have so many more blessings than I ever realized before. And some of that was made clear to me by your comments. I mean, I get frustrated. I felt like I should have a nicer house or better things or whatever in my life. And like, I get down on myself maybe for choices I've made or different things. And like, you guys have made comments that have made me feel so much better. And I don't need to have a mansion. You guys made me appreciate what I've got. People are saying, oh, houses in the United States are so beautiful. Dude, I needed that wake up call because I am so blessed. I have had so much to be thankful for.
We'll get back to her message in just a second, but I just had to show you some of the fun things we found in this pantry. Who doesn't have a feather boa in there?
Well, that actually used to be on a witch hat, and then I think Ellen took it off of the hat so that she could play with the cat with it, and I want to put it back. I want to finish my hat. But yes, everyone needs a purple feather boa, don't you think?
Oh yeah.
In their bug spray box or whatever it is.
And then also a peek inside the pantry so you can see what's been going on in there, what we are, or where we're at in the process. So again, we didn't take everything out. Some of it we just organized right there in place because we were running out of room on the countertops. And also make sure that you stay tuned until the end because I'm going to show you my own pantry and some of the baskets that I use to organize it because I love them. They are a game changer when it comes to pantry organization, for me anyway.
I had her in beanies. Is it solid?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, get rid of that one. That's interesting. I can't wait for you to show people. Yes, I do actually get rid of stuff.
Yes. It's going. It's going.
Yeah, like.
What is that?
I think that's Elmer's glue that my daughter put in there for something and to make like slime. That one you can throw away.
I think we all do this. We all have areas in our home that just become a catch-all for things that you just don't know where else to put it. So into the pantry it goes. Okay, here is the continuation of Cammy's message.
I do have access to medical care. I do have a hospital 15 minutes away from my home. And not everybody even has that. Rural communities don't, you know? I have access to leaders in their field. So I'm going to be okay. But I love Bonnie so much. And if she wasn't authentically who she is, I wouldn't have had the ability to trust and to be vulnerable with her. And the people that really love you just want to help you. And I don't know how many of you have helped a person who's got a big, shameful, messy house, but it got this bad because I was so ashamed too. It wasn't just my medical situation, it was also because of shame. And how much better would it have been for my helpers if I had asked for help sooner? How much better would it have been for my family if I had asked for help sooner? How much better would it have been for my health and my stress levels and my cortisol levels, you know, if I had asked for help sooner? How much better? Don't let shame keep you from self-improvement. Don't let shame keep you from being real and authentic and getting the help you need. Be real. We love Bonnie because she's real. Bonnie is real. The person you see on the videos is her. She has a heart of gold. And I love her for it. And she's honest and she's unafraid. And love yourselves enough to have good boundaries too. Like, look out for yourselves. Be kind to yourself, not just others. Accept the compliments you give, or that you get, right? Like, most of us don't lie to someone when we give a compliment. Why would we? Like, if somebody has a nice color on and I say, that looks really good on you, I'm being sincere. I wouldn't lie, especially if I care about someone. So if somebody says something to you about something good about yourself, accept it. Take it. Embrace it. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not being prideful. And it's okay to like some good things about yourself too, as long as you're always trying to be better. It's okay. Love yourself. Be yourself. Embrace it, as long as you're trying to always be better tomorrow than you were today. And if you stumble and regress a little, as long as you learn from it, it's still not a failure. Be you. Breathe in, take in that air, have that lightness of being, and just know somebody loves you. You're somebody's kid, and even if your family of origin isn't what you wanted it to be, you can make your own family. And Bonnie now is like a sister to me. And find those other brothers and sisters in your life. If you weren't born to a family that does that for you, create your own, because you can. But don't let shame hold you back. Shame is the opposite of encouragement. And how many more people do we need to have encouraged in life? Who wants to go through a life of shame when we could have a life of encouragement and learning? There's no failure if you've learned from something. There's no failure if you've learned. Keep going, one foot in front of the other. It's the only way you get anywhere, and you don't run a mile in one leap. You run a mile a step at a time. Some people have wider strides, longer strides. That's okay. I'm 5 feet tall. I'm never going to have a long stride. But I've learned if I just keep moving, I can do big things too. Bonnie wasn't a superhero overnight, and neither will we be. And that's okay. Because if we keep on going down the journey, we're going to be all right. And the journey you never get to the end of is for sure going to be the one you never started. So start the journey now, a day at a time, 5 minutes at a time if you need to. I love you guys. Thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for helping me keep going. Sitting here with my feeding tube in my nose. I just watched Bonnie's raw video just being her. And I'll just tell you, she is amazing. But we all have to have self-care, no matter how amazing we are. Be amazing for yourself once in a while, too. It's all right. Learning, studying, that's self-care. So is taking a break. As long as you keep on going. As long as you get back up. Don't let yourself get so sick that you sit down and you never get back up. Don't let your house get so messy that you have to move out and never go back. Start when things are small. Ask for help when things are small, because the smaller help is easier to get. Don't do yourself the disservice of letting it get to the point where you need ginormous help, because that's way harder to find. Do yourself a favor and love yourself, because other people love you too.
So a lot of great words of wisdom from Cammy right there. And it's a little ironic that some of my burnout that I posted in my video last week was to do with handling this situation and being up there cleaning all day and having a lot of talking going on, trying to work at the same time. All of that was just overloading my brain. And so I felt a little guilty even like bringing that up to Cammy, because she has a gift of gab. She could talk all day and she knows this. And so I was feeling like, oh, I can't tell her, like, I need some quiet. But I finally have decided, you know what? Boundaries are good, and communicating your needs to someone is not rude. And I have to get over that, because sometimes I'm just like, oh, I can't tell them this. That would just be so rude. But if they love you, they will respect those boundaries. And so I no longer am shy about communicating those needs, and that sometimes I need a little quiet. And she's also very understanding that I need to take a little time off before I can go back and continue to help, because I just need to decompress for a little bit and get things a little bit more manageable in my own life so that I am in a better spot to help her when I do go back.
Bonnie, thank you. Did you get to climb back in the back yet?
Did I get what?
Did you get to climb back in the back of the cupboard yet?
I peeked back there. But no, I haven't been totally back there yet.
That's funny.
Because we'll probably have to save that for the next time. But
Come on.
I know. Like, I didn't want to keep pulling stuff out and then be like, can I see ya?
Right?
So we gotta put some of this stuff back. Yeah.
Well, if you come back next.
She was asking me that because I got a little excited when I learned that her pantry went not just all the way back to the back wall, but also around the corner and under her stairs. And I get a little excited about little nooks and secret spaces and things like that for whatever reason. I don't know why. They just excite me. So she was just wondering if I'd been back there yet. Anyway, here is a little bit more from Cammy.
Just a note to you guys watching these videos. You need to know I have a blessed life. Everyone has hard things. They just don't all have a cast to fix them, or need a cast or show up on our faces. Just like everybody has a talent. Being a great accountant or an organizer doesn't show up at the ladies' craft night. The last thing I want is pity. I have had an incredibly blessed life. What I want to come from these videos most is to keep someone from waiting to ask for help as long as I did, or to prevent someone from years of pain like mine. If just one person is hurt by their provider, then any potential embarrassment or trolling comment is fine by me. But please do remember, mean people are remembered as mean and kind of simple sometimes. Kind people are revered and loved forever. It's harder to put yourself in someone else's place. That takes more effort and more intelligence. In the end, that's all we actually get to leave behind that lasts. It's our love. Clothes deteriorate. Possessions get ruined or lost. Our love is forever.
So I know there's a lot of voiceover in this one and not a lot of just the cleaning sounds like some of you like, but I really thought that it was important to let Cammy share her message, because I think there are a lot of people who are in similar situations that might get some benefit from hearing her story and her encouragement and what she's getting out of this. So, okay, there's one more really quick, funny story. I'm going to share it, and then I'll let her finish up her message to my viewers.
Oh my gosh, I got this on camera before, but Lanita had or she pulled out that fake bacon from the couch because it was like in between the cushions, and she pulled out. She's like, "Oh my gosh, please tell me this isn't real." I was like, "That's not real." She's like, "I thought I had raw bacon in my hands and I was gonna start freaking out. Like, what is this?" I was like, "Nope, it's just plain."
Yeah, it was totally worth it.
It was funny.
Poor Lanita. Oh, poor sweetheart. I love her. Oh, man, that's funny.
So yeah, I got that all on video, but I'm not sure if you'll actually get to see it or not. That was when I was cleaning the front room, and that's the footage that I may be sending to Mac for him to edit and do a voiceover on. So I don't know if he'll include that in the video or not, but so I just at least wanted to tell the story because it was pretty funny to watch it play out. Okay, here is Cammy finishing up her message to you guys.
I've read your comments on Bonnie's videos that you want to help me too. Please let me tell you one thing right now. You did. Your views swept my floors. Your likes wiped my counters. Your subscriptions threw away my trash. Please let my videos of my mess help someone else by watching the next beautiful mess Bonnie finds, because that's how you can help her to be able to keep doing this. And I am benefiting from that, and I am beyond grateful to all of you. And I don't even have words. And I talk enough that that's really hard to do. As the gravity of my serious and severe illness hit home, the doctors were saying very scary words, like maybe it could be a malignancy or possibly leukemia. I thought of my family, and especially my kids. And luckily it's not cancer. However, I did want my kids to have a good life, and I don't want them. I thought of them going through my things without me there to help them. And I don't want them to go through this mess without me. Do your helpers a favor by calling them early. There's a lot more people out there with the skills and ability to do smaller favors than ginormous ones. Don't let it get this bad. Give yourself access to as many resources as possible, and that comes the most easily by reaching out sooner rather than later. Don't wait to say I'm sorry. Don't wait to say I love you. Don't wait to say I need help. Turn your situation into a solution so that others can have blessings sooner. When we learn from dysfunction, it ceases to be a failure. Let your mess become a thing of beauty in your life instead of shame. Let your mess be an opportunity to serve others. For somebody, let somebody serve you, especially when it's in a more manageable size, so that you're more likely to find the help you need. Everyone deserves to be seen and heard, even you. Please don't hide your love underneath a mountain of clothes. Don't hide your light under a bushel of trash. Then let someone lighten your load before it gets too heavy to bear for anyone. by accepting help and letting others serve you. It could be the most difficult thing you do, accepting help, but your situation can turn your mess into something beautiful. And I love Bonnie's channeling just because of that, and you guys have helped me to learn something beautiful as part of this. So just thank you. Just thank you.
And I will just add my thank you to hers and say thank you for all of your views, your subscriptions, and your likes, because they really do help me to help more people. And I know even if you don't understand YouTube, just trust me, it does. It helps a lot. Okay, I'm just going to show you some quick after pictures of some of the drawers that we organized, but I don't really have the before pictures, and some of these are not totally organized yet, but at least it looks a lot better than where we started, if you remember all that stuff that we were pulling out of the drawers. So it's looking a lot better. Still more work to do, but we're getting there. Okay, and then this is a little preview of what you'll see in next week's video, but the reason I'm showing it to you right now is because we actually didn't finish up the pantry until this same day that we were working on the spices. So that's just footage from the same day. And then, so this is Lanita and I just finishing up that pantry. And I did not get a lot of footage on my regular camera. So a lot of the last bit of organizing the pantry was just caught on my 360-degree camera without sound, so thus the voiceover. But I do have a little close-up of cleaning this shelf at least. I have no idea exactly what this was, but the Dawn Power Wash did not work. So I tried this Goo Gone and it worked a lot better. Still not perfect, and bleach may have taken the rest of the stains off, but you know what? Better is better. And it looked clean to me. And the before and after pictures will show you that it is actually a lot better. See, a lot better. It's amazing how something doesn't look clean until you see where it started from. So it is much better. Okay, so we're just getting everything put back into the pantry. Again, this is not going to be like the most organized pantry ever, but it was organized according to how it made sense to Cammy and the things that they use the most. And there's still some things, again, that she needs to sort through and pare down. As far as most of the food we got pared down pretty well, but there's still some of the containers and crock pots and things like that you know, she's still working on. She did a first pass and got rid of a lot of stuff. I wish I had gotten a picture of all the stuff that Lanita took for the organization that I told you about in last week's video, where a lot of this is going to women who have been in abusive relationships and are starting all over and just need anything and everything for a new home. So yeah, she took a ton of stuff. And I also wanted to mention that, yes, I did wash these pantry shelves. I don't know if you saw that in the video or not, because I didn't do any close-ups of it, because pantry shelves are notoriously always grimy looking, just because especially the cans leave marks on there, and unless you paint them, they are so hard to actually make look good. So they were cleaned though, and yeah, before we put all this stuff back on there. So anyway, here is the after of that pantry. And, you know, this might not be the way that you would organize it, but this is what made sense to Cammy and her family and the things that they use the most. And she had it was a wet erase marker that she was labeling things with, which I thought was great. If you don't have labels or a label maker, wet erase marker, or like a chalk marker. I like using those. And then of course I have some before and after pictures so you can see the vast difference there is in this pantry. So here you go. Someone commented about how much they loved this new slide transition, and I have to agree. I love it. It's one of my new favorites because it's just like this magical slide to organized and clean. Just, I don't know. I love it. Okay, and then I just wanted to show you my pantry. This is, I did just organize this. I don't think it looks like this all the time, but I do keep it fairly organized just because of the baskets. It makes it a lot easier, but that's where I keep most of my bigger appliances. And I made this dumb shelf. It's not pretty, but it works. That's what I'm pointing out there. And then, yeah, so these baskets are some of my favorite because they're not quite see-through. So they do hide a little bit of the messiness of it, but you can also see what's in there. So it's just, yeah, we eat a lot of ramen. Or let's say my boys eat a lot of ramen. And yeah, so just some of these categories, I've just got like snacks. This would be like movie type snacks and gum. You know, I've got to have my gum. And then, oh, I'm just showing you the hooks that I have for my aprons. Just very simple hooks, nothing elegant, but it works. And my peanut butter, honey, you know, spreads for bread, things like that. Fruits, like Jell-O and pudding. More snacks, granola bars, pretzels. And we've got chips. And then like crackers, graham crackers, goldfish, rice. And I did put the instructions to how to cook the rice on the side there, just so I don't have to look that up every time. And then all my pasta and pasta sauce. Okay, these are other silly shelves that I made, and I'm going to show you. It's broken, but this was just kind of a trial thing I did a few years ago, and it's worked. I mean, I just have to keep a can in front of it so it doesn't all fall out, but it's not the best made thing. It's just functional. I feel like these rolling can dispensers are only good if you have a lot of the same item, but I do like the tiered ones for when you've got just one or two or three of the same item. So I have kind of a variety of things in my pantry, but my very favorites are the white plastic bins because they act kind of like drawers. And then this is just how I store my like water bottles and things. It's not super organized right now, but that's how I do it in a shoe organizer. And this is just a little sneak peek of what will be in next week's video. She has donated so many jeans. It's crazy. And this is only about half of what she is going to donate. So that'll be in next week's video, plus the spices, plus we're going to do a little bit in this room. And there are other people from our neighborhood that are going to be helping in that one. So yeah, that'll be on next week's video. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for joining me today. And remember to check the links for anything that sounded interesting to you from what like Cammy mentioned, and then other links for products and things like that. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great week. Hi guys, welcome back to A Beautiful Mess. My name is Bonnie, and if you're new here, welcome. This house that you're looking at belongs to Cammy, and she lives here with her husband and her 2 kids. And she's had multiple health issues as well as her husband has, but we're focusing mostly on Cammy in this series because she has recently had a lot going on. And I'll go into that a little bit later in the video, but I just wanted to lay out first of all what our goal here in this front room is, and then we'll get into the the rest of the story in just a minute. But I'm working with Lanita today, and she's been in some of my other videos as well. But we are clearing everything out of this front room to get down to the carpet, to thoroughly clean this carpet, because Cammy has a couple of older dogs that have had some accidents on this carpet. So we wanted to get everything cleared out, get the carpet really cleaned, and then bring back just a little bit at a time to put it back a little bit more organized, or put stuff where it actually goes. There were a couple of funny moments that I caught on camera of Lanita and some things that freaked her out. So I'm going to let you enjoy those, and then we'll get back to Cammy and her story.
Oh, is this fake?
Bacon. It's bacon.
It's fake bacon, right? It's not like,
Yes.
is it like just...
Oh, it's just like one of those toys, like a
Okay,
giant.
okay. Okay.
You're like, what?
For a moment, I'm like, do not tell me I'm touching real bacon right now. I mean, it's fine, but I just, yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, it does look real.
Mommy.
It's not attached to your head. You're good. That's funny.
Just check
Yeah.
it out there. Okay.
She's so cute. I just love Lanita. Okay, anyway, back to Cammy and her story. If you have not seen the first 3, you might want to go check those out, but just a quick recap, and I won't go into all the details because there were a lot of those in the first 3 videos in this series, but she has what's called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which in short just means that her pancreas is not making digestive enzymes anymore, and her body's just been wasting away, basically eating itself, and she had to have a feeding tube placed about a month ago. And so we had been working on her kitchen, but we moved to this front room when she had to have the feeding tube placed, because she was going to have a home health nurse come in and help her with that. And so she wanted to have the front room a little bit more presentable. So that's why we just put a pause on the kitchen and decided to get this front room cleaned up. But at the end of this video, I will also show you the spice cabinet, because that's one thing that we did not get to in last week's video, was that footage. So it is included at the end of this. I'm afraid to ask what that is. What do you think that is? I don't know. I'm a little scared of what. Is it just like a shell? Or is it like a curled up piece of food?
I think trash. I think food myself.
I know, it
really
probably is. But what if it's like some special shell?
Well, it seems too simple.
Oh, you know what? It's probably like a
dark flower.
No, it's the.
Her clock.
Yeah, where is the clock? Oh, it's right there.
Oh. The one is yours, right? This time?
That's what it is. It's gotta be a magic mushroom, right? Mushroom grow kit. I bet that's a mushroom. Okay.
Can we smell it, or we?
I don't know. What do you think? Is it a mushroom? You have to see it. Like what? So this footage is actually from almost a month ago. It was July 8th, and it was the same day that Cammy had her feeding tube placed. So she is with us on the morning that this was shot. You'll actually see her bring some jeans down that she's donating here in just a minute, but she's getting ready to go have her feeding tube placed, and then we're going to be cleaning the front room while she has that done, and then she'll be back later in the afternoon.
Yeah. And I found the pair I wore the week I got married. So I'm smallest I've been since elementary.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I weigh more than I did in less than I did in 6th grade.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Because it's eating all your muscle. Oh, he's like dying back here.
Okay. Thank you, Bubba. Okay, this is about half.
Are we throwing this all away, or?
No, we're going to wash it and donate it. So.
For people that don't have anything. Do you remember the jeans that were in the cutoffs that were like blue and white stripes in high school?
Yes.
I loved those.
Oh, in fact, those were,
They were wide. Now, like,
yeah. There were some Guess ones like that. I remember them being specifically Guess jeans that I loved, and I was like, we'll never be able to afford that. What I used to do is take the Guess, like, we'd go to the DI and get the Guess jeans and, yeah, take off the label, put it on our own.
I
like,
love
I'd sew
going
it
to the
onto
DI.
my own.
Why the heck not?
So
Seriously.
Like, yeah, I've got Guess jeans, right? And
I wish I
Gerbeau.
would have done that. I had Gerbeau's, like, but I didn't get, my mom didn't even buy my own shampoo growing up, so I had paper route and crap. Finally, I saw some at a Costco or a Sam's Club, and they were like $35. And I was like, oh yeah, and I think I wore them 3 times a week. And Z Cabarucci's, oh my gosh.
Z Cabarucci's, yes.
Yeah, those were crazy looking, some of them. I loved those, but I would tell that to my students, nobody will care in 20 years if you wore Z Cabarucci's or Guess or Jordache or Walmart. I don't remember how you treated them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, love it. I like to leave in little bits of our conversations just because I think for some people it might be relatable. I wonder how many people did what I described there. I don't know if you really understood what I was talking about, but I would go to our local thrift store and get Guess jeans, which at least here in the US, they were a very popular brand and very expensive jeans, but I would go find any pair of jeans, whether they were my size or not, and get them for $3, $5, whatever, and get the tag off of it and then sew it onto my own jeans just to pretend I have Guess jeans, because it's just a fact of life for that age that if you do not have the name brand jeans, you're considered kind of an outcast. So I was gonna go to whatever lengths I had to make it look like we could afford the name brand jeans. Not that that really did much for my social status, since I was still very, very shy in junior high and high school, but I did what I could. So I'm using liquid gold on this piano, and I come across something sticky on here right there, and I could not just rub it off, so I got my plastic scraper. I have my razor scraper that I use all the time, but I rarely use my plastic ones, so it actually came in really handy for this, just so it wouldn't scratch the wood. But I also soaked it with some of the liquid gold, like just sprayed it on there, let it set for a little bit, and then scraped it off, and it actually worked really well. And whatever the sticky stuff was on the piano, it was also on this coffee table and on the dresser that you'll see me clean off here in just a minute. So my plastic scraper got a lot of use. One thing that we were very careful of in this house was not to throw away any little Lego piece, not even the smallest piece, because Legos are very important to this family. They love them. All of them love them. So there's a lot of collectors sets here, and so we were very careful not to throw away any Lego pieces. And this little box of poppers right here was what she handed out for Halloween last year to the gluten-free kids that couldn't have the treats. So she got them little poppers. I thought that was very considerate. And just the fact that they still have Christmas stuff out and Halloween stuff from last year shows you just what a crazy year it has been. That's the big red button. Yep. Oh, it actually says some.
Was that a cat from Buffy?
Oh my God. Receiving even the smallest of these pieces, so to go through this meticulously. And see all that white stuff there? You would think that that's garbage. It's not. It's actually Lego snow for that Lego Advent calendar right there, which is why I'm trying to save as much of it as I can. The paint is peeling off of this. This cat first stuck to it, so. That's just gonna have to be good. Something that's going to be super important for this family moving forward, especially since Cammy and her husband both have some major health issues that they are not likely to fully recover from, is to make their lives easier by decluttering. And I know a lot of you are in the same position where maybe you've hit a point in life where you can't do everything that you used to be able to do, and things have become overwhelming. So I know we all don't have the option to have a friend or family member or a cleaning angel come along and just help you declutter and clean up your house, nor is it feasibly, oh my gosh, financially feasible to pay somebody to come and do that. So I wanted to share something with you from a viewer that commented about what she does in her situation, and I thought it was some great advice for anybody else who might find themselves in an overwhelming mess and doesn't know where to even start. So this is what she says. I'm a disabled person, and I have been thinking a lot lately about what could make my life better. The thought I hit on was that I need more ease in my life. I'm not totally clear on how to achieve that, but one thing I can think of is that I want to identify times when things don't feel easy. Our kitchen has become a bit cluttered, and I find myself struggling to find and extract the things I want to use from our overstuffed cabinets and drawers. I don't have the energy to do a full kitchen declutter, so my plan is that when I hit those moments of things feeling like a struggle, I will take a moment to evaluate what doesn't belong in that space. Oh my gosh. You should see under these cushions. It looks like Easter in here. So while Anita and I address this Easter explosion under these cushions, and now this is 3 holidays we've run into, Halloween, Christmas, and Easter, I want to get back to the comment because I will have moments like that too, especially in the kitchen, where I'm trying to just fit something in a drawer and it's not going, there's just not enough space. And I think those are the moments that she's talking about, that you would just need to take a step back and go, okay, what is not working about this situation? And if it's just that there's too much stuff, that I'm sure there's always something you can pare down on. And even if you get rid of something that you're like, oh, I really should have kept that, chances are you can find another tool that will do the job. What looks like a lifesaver, it's not. It's like a corn thing, or I don't know. All of this that I'm putting on the carpet is enzyme cleaner, and I don't really have a favorite enzyme cleaner other than I do like Autoban because it comes in these big gallon bottles. And so I just mixed it with a little bit of water and poured it onto some of these stains. And then I'm going to scrub it really good with this scrub brush and let it sit for a little bit to let those enzymes work. And so we'll come back to that and suck it up with our carpet cleaner in just a minute. Yeah, we already started this process and I forgot to get a before picture, but this is everything coming out of this closet. And look at that bolt of fabric. It's huge. Let's see what kind of material it is. Oh, it's like a utility type fabric. Cool. Trying to fit all that back in. All right. In last week's video, I mentioned that I was going to provide some helpful links to anybody who needed some advice on how to advocate for their own health, because Cammy has had kind of a nightmare story, and so she wanted to provide a helpful link for that. But I also have a link now for all of the recordings that Cammy provided to me, some of which I used in last week's video, and also the written out version of her story, which is very well written and she's very motivational. So I think you'll love it. Go check out that Google Drive link and check out those recordings and her story.
Oh, that's cute. So cute. Oh, that's adorable.
Oh, that's so cute. I did not look at it originally. I just saw a little thing of fabric. So I thought,
Adorable.
okay, so Christmas, there's Christmas.
Yeah, Cammy's daughter made that. That's why I thought it was so cute. In fact, Cammy used to teach a sewing class to youth, and she's got like 7 or 8 sewing machines because that's what she used to do before she got sick. As one of the things that she used to do. She had her hands in several things.
I don't know what that is. Do you know what these balls are?
Oh, they're bocce balls or bocce balls. Oh, but those don't seem as heavy. Oh, hey! I didn't know you were here. I thought you went with your mom. But yeah, bocce balls. Do you play bocce ball?
No.
It's fun.
One of those did give my dad a concussion.
Really?
Oh no.
They really did.
And that is Cammy's son that we're talking to. And I have to say, he is the sweetest kid. He really was so helpful and so respectful. And if I'm being completely honest here, most of other people's kids really bug me. And I'm sorry to say that, but sometimes they're just so obnoxious and loud, and it's just, I can't handle that. So it was very refreshing to be around her kids who were very just sweet demeanors, just good kids. I don't know why, but I found this so satisfying to watch both of these carpet cleaners going at the same time, just sort of crossing each other. So we'll get back to that after we dump some of this dirty water out of both machines. Wow. Oh my gosh. I love seeing that. Holy cow. Okay, and number 2, I'll get, not number 2, like... The second one, you want to go get that? Look at that. Oh. Watch this, guys. Oh, okay. Wash our hands. If you're you're wondering how we have two machines, one is Cammy's and one was given to me by my friend Tisha, who had two carpet cleaners for some reason. So she's like, you can just take one for the houses that you clean. So that was very nice of her.
Are you serious? I think so. Yeah. So now we gotta go find the circuit breaker. Oh my gosh.
So after we overloaded the circuit, we decided to just use one carpet cleaner at a time. And I think in total we probably did like 8 or 9 passes over this carpet, but it probably still could have used some more. The water got a little lighter, but it was still pretty dark. And this is just carpet for you. I love the look of carpet and how it makes the home feel a lot cozier, but it is kind of gross how much dirt and stuff it traps. But if you are one of those people who has carpet and have been looking to get a carpet cleaner, or maybe now are looking to get a carpet cleaner after watching this, because it really is pretty satisfying. It's one of my favorite things to do next to laundry. My very favorite is the Big Green Machine by Bissell. It's a little more expensive. It's a professional one, and but we've had ours for about 15 years and it's still going. I love it. But these ones that we're using here are the Hoover, and they're about half the cost. And so if you don't need something super industrial, then the Hoovers work great. And I will link both of them in my video description. So by this time, Cammy had gotten home with her feeding tube, and we got her settled on the couch with a towel because we had just washed the couch. But and had her help us make some decisions about, not help us make decisions. We helped her make decisions. How about that? About all the stuff that came out of the closet. So there were a few things that really didn't belong in there, but just got stuffed in there because that's just what happens when things get overwhelming and you don't know where to put anything. They just get put wherever. And so I think this happens in every home, but it's more likely to happen when you just have too much stuff. You're overwhelmed with other things, and things just get mingled together. So just trying to sort this out for her, create some categories, and get rid of some of the outgrown coats and things. Cammy was quite the trooper after just getting home with her feeding tube. And I know she was in a lot of pain, especially her throat because of the feeding tube. It was nice of her to even sit down there with us to make these decisions, because I'm sure all she wanted to do was lay down to sleep. But it was very helpful to have her down there with us. Okay, here are some before and afters of that living room. Turned out amazing. It's a cute little front room. I love it. And then also a before and after of that area with the dresser. And then we're going to get back to the jeans that she was donating, and here's what I did with them. Okay, we're at my brother's laundry facility in Bear Lake. We're going to wash these jeans from Cammy's house to donate. Huge bag. So it was convenient that I was already heading up to Bear Lake to see 3 of my siblings that live up there. And Bear Lake, by the way, is a resort town, and it's on the Utah and Idaho, or it straddles Utah and Idaho. But anyway, Joey, my brother right here, owns this laundry facility up there where he washes a lot of sheets and towels and things for the some of the rental properties. So I just asked if I could use his laundromat to wash some of these jeans, since that would be the most convenient, so I didn't have to do it at my own house, and worked out well. I would look at this and be like, that's like overfull, but this isn't a regular washing machine. Doesn't that look stuffed? Still needs more. I can't believe this really, like, you stuff it in this much?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's supposed to be stuffed full except for the size of a football, or about it. 612 pack pop.
That's so weird.
I'll show you why in a minute.
It spins so fast that it just is like, yeah. Oh my gosh, it won't even stay in there. These are too slippery.
Okay. We're still not completely full, but it's full enough. Let's get off balance. It will actually work.
All those extra things we're stuffing in there were just the laundry bags that they wash before they put the clean clothes back in them, or clean sheets, or whatever it is they put in there. I actually don't even know. I pretend like I know, but I don't. So, yeah, and it only takes 35 minutes. Crazy. And this is probably the equivalent of like 5 or 6 loads in my washer. So it was pretty nice to get it done all in one go. It did take a little longer to dry though. It was probably a couple hours. And so while we were waiting for that to dry, I helped with folding some sheets, which, they fold them really weird and not at all like I like to do it. Definitely no pocket folding. So it was a little annoying that I had to conform to their methods, but whatever. I still wanted to help out. So, okay. And then this is just us folding all those jeans later that day. And the way that I'm folding them here, I don't always fold them this way, but my mom sent me a video once of, some folding techniques, and I thought this one was just kind of fun. So that's what we all did. And you're going to meet my Aunt Colleen here in just a minute. She is the cutest. She's my mom's only living sibling, and I just love Colleen. And it is not spelled the same as Colleen from Colleen Cleans, but that reminds me, I haven't shouted her out in a while. If you guys have not checked out Colleen Cleans, you really need to. She is so sweet, and I just cannot wait to meet her someday. She's just a beautiful person. Colleen, you have to say hi to my viewers.
Hello, viewers.
That's it, right?
Take a plastic bag, then you put it on your head. Go to bed, wake up dead. Whee!
Mother, what is wrong with you? Do it again. I want to see that again.
First you take the plastic bag, then you put it on your head. Go to bed, wake up dead. Whee!
You missed the first part. Suffocation, game of coordination. Suffocation, the game we like to play. First you take a plastic bag, then you put it on your head. Go to bed, wake up dead. Whee!
Okay.
My whole family is crazy.
We're crazy.
And that apparently is where I get my morbid sense of humor, from my mother and my Aunt Colleen. Once they started singing the suffocation part, I do faintly remember that from my childhood. So anyway, back at Cammy's. So this is the family room, I guess you would call it. It's just that room that's beyond the kitchen that you keep seeing in the background of the kitchen videos. So the reason I'm showing this to you is not because I'm going to get it all cleaned up in this video, but to show you some of the helpers from her neighborhood. So these are a couple of ladies from her neighborhood. Neighbors, yeah. Anyway, these are a couple of neighbors. Sorry, words are hard. But anyway, people have asked if there is anybody that lives around her that can come help her with stuff, since she lives like an hour away from me and I can't be there all the time to help her. And yes, there are some fabulous neighbors that she has that are willing to come and help her. But, you know, it wasn't until recently that she decided that it's okay to let people help. And she actually talks about this a lot more in last week's video. If you missed that, you should go check it out, because there was a lot straight from Cammy that was very good advice for anybody who might be struggling with a similar situation and just needs a little help getting over that shame and actually letting somebody into your home to help. And especially before it gets to this state, it's a lot easier to find helpers to help with a smaller mess than when it gets to be so overwhelming. And if you truly don't have anybody that can come in and help you, I do have another option for you. But I'll talk about that in my next video, or maybe make a community post about it, because I've got way too many links going on in this video already. So I don't want it to just get lost in there, but just stay tuned. I will talk about that in my next one, or make a separate post about it. Okay, we have finally made our way to the spices. This was actually going to be its own video, but the more I looked at it, I was like, it's just not enough to make it its own thing. So that's why I decided to add in the front room to the same video. But Lanita and I are going to go through all of these spices and get rid of anything that was really past the best by date. The thing with spices is it's not like they really go bad, but they definitely lose a lot of their flavor after a while. So we asked her, just for some general guidelines on what she was willing to get rid of. And we did throw out a lot of these spices that were way expired, because, that's the whole point of having seasonings, is to season food. So if it's lost its flavor, there's no point in having it. But we also combined a lot of these because there were duplicates, and the cornstarch, I let Lanita handle most of that, because that feels like chalk, and you guys, if you've been following me for a while, know how much I hate the feel of chalk. But anyway, so we also found a spice rack that was sitting on her counter that I'd forgotten about, and it's one of those refillable ones where you can just refill it with some of these spices. So that's how I got rid of a lot of the bottles as well. So this was kind of a fun little task, and we also ended up alphabetizing them, which I never do that, or at least I've never done that at somebody else's house. But the kitchen is one place that is very important to Cammy and to the family, and I always like to at least give the family one place that brings them joy, something that can lift their spirits. So this was that for them. Oh, I just got a comment from Remy Clog, who is one person that I completely admire. She's in the UK. Anyway, she's so real, and so easy to listen to, because she just got this cute accent. It's just this is my life, and it's crazy. She's just so cute and authentic, and I just love her. So I'm like, oh my gosh, she watches my videos.
Did she commented on
Yeah, she's sending you lots of love, Bonnie. I relate to so much of what you're saying.
Aww.
Anyway, that's so fun. So not only was it so nice that she commented on that video, that was the one where I was having a bit of a breakdown, and so it was nice for her to comment on that, but she also mentioned me in her next video, and she's just so sweet and supportive, and I feel bad that I haven't really been able to watch much of her videos lately, because I've been so busy trying to support some other channels that have less subscribers than I do. I just try to do what I can to have this trickle down to some of the other free cleaning channels and help them out. So, but I am watching more of hers now and catching up on some of hers. She's so sweet. And I'm also always so appreciative of the support from Mac and Barbie. And I was a little sad to miss out on the collaboration a couple weeks ago, but at the same time, I am glad, because it looked like that house was not really my thing, and they even had a hard time with it. So I am glad I made the choice not to go, and instead I went paddleboarding around Horseshoe Bend. A friend invited me to go paddleboarding, and I never say yes to stuff like that, because I'm usually too busy, or I say I'm too busy. And so my husband basically said, no, you're going, you need to go. So I did that. It was so fun and just what I needed. So I am feeling a lot better. I mean, there's still days that I'm not doing super great, but I do have an appointment with my doctor in a couple weeks to just talk about some things and figure out what's going on. Okay, it's finally time to alphabetize some spices here. And what's funny is we had them kind of organized into alphabetical order before we started putting them in this cupboard, but then we remembered there was a whole other cupboard of spices we hadn't gotten to, and so we had to kind of shift stuff around and redo it, and anyway, it was a whole thing. So there's going to be a lot of shifting around in this part of the video. And then, of course, there were the bigger spices, and I just sort of put those on the side to be somewhat with the alphabet order that they go in. I don't know how to say that, but hopefully you know what I mean. Organizing all of these made me really thankful that I only have about a quarter of this amount in my kitchen, because I don't love to cook and there are very few spices that I use. So yeah, I've got mine all just in one drawer. Well, I guess I do have another cupboard for the bigger spices that we use for grilling things, but yeah, for the most part, it can fit in just one drawer. I can't believe I almost forgot to mention this, but let's talk about comments for a second, because in an effort to keep myself from getting overwhelmed, and because I have told you I have a hard time not replying to every single comment, but I know I can't, and it's getting harder to keep up on the comments. So they're still important for the algorithm to show engagement. So I still love those comments. Keep them coming. But I am going to try to reply to most comments the day after, or, you know, within the first 24 hours of posting my videos. And then after that, it might be kind of hit or miss. But if you need a reply to your comment, put a question in there or a question mark, because I can sort my comments out by questions. And I also will always reply to my members and to any super thanks. So if you leave a super thanks, I will always respond to that and tell you thank you. So that's kind of my guidelines now for the comments. And if you're one of those that just likes to leave a comment to help with the algorithm, you can even just leave an emoji if you want, and that counts as a comment. So yeah, a heart, a thumbs up, whatever. That's also very appreciated.
You're motivating me to want to feed my family.
I know, and this is why I'm like, I don't normally spend so much time like alphabetizing spices and stuff, but when it's like important, you know, that's something that like
it's a priority.
Is important to you. That's what I
and
like
I'll tell
to
them
give.
that. Like, I would tell them that on your voice.
So besides the spice cabinet, we also did this cabinet, and I couldn't really get my camera in here to record very well, so I'm just showing you how we organized it. So used a lot of these Lazy Susans. If you don't have a big Lazy Susan, this actually works really well to have a couple different ones in cupboards like this. And I also love that Lazy Susan for some of the bigger bottles like this, because it keeps it all contained. So I'm gonna have to get me some of these. I really like them, and those are just some cute little salt and pepper shakers that she collects. So anyway, just another cupboard that we organized. And then here comes some before and afters of those two cupboards. The before and after of the spice cabinet is great. The other one, it's a little hard to tell what's going on just because of the angle of the photo, but I still wanted to include it. So anyway, and then these are just some pictures from my recent paddleboarding trip in a video. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. And I know that was kind of a long video with a lot in it, but check out the video description because it'll kind of go over some of those links that I talked about. And make sure that you are not only subscribed, but also have your notifications turned on so that if I do make a community post, you don't miss that. So anyway, thanks you guys. Take care. We'll see you next week. Hi everyone, welcome back to Beautiful Mess. Today we are back in the home of Cammy, our incredible shrinking woman. You'll probably remember her kitchen and transforming it from this into this beautiful space. But today we are going to be working on her closet and her upstairs hallway. So first, here is some footage of her closet. And Cammy is actually going to be working on this herself while I work on the hallway. So she'll be heavily involved in this process today. But first I wanted to show you something kind of funny. If you guys remember, we both went to the same high school. She was a year ahead of me, but I saw this hanging in her closet and said, "Is that seriously a pep club sweatshirt?" And she's like, "Yes, you should totally try it on." So I did. I had to be super careful putting it on though, because the neck hole was really small and I have a thing with my eyebrows being touched. You can see me furiously fixing them there. But anyway, I did successfully get it on and with minimal damage to my eyebrows. And there is me in it. So little blast from the past. It was kind of fun. Okay, and then this is the hallway that I will be working on. I guess you could actually call this more of a landing than a hallway, but anyway, just the space at the top of the stairs right before you go into the master bedroom. So I will be working on this, and let me just show you how Cammy got around having me have to blur her out. She was so creative. She thought, I want to be part of the process, the cleanup process, but you know, I'm trying to stay anonymous. So this is what she came up with. She made herself a cute little mask, which I very much appreciated because not only does it just take a lot of extra time to blur out somebody in my videos, but it also slows down the video editing process. Like it just bogs down the system and makes everything run really slow. So I was so thankful that she was super creative and came up with a solution. So if you remember the first video in this series from Cammy's home, you'll remember that as we started talking before I came to her home to clean, we started piecing things together and figured out we went to the same high school, same junior high, grew up in the same area, and all these other things that just kept adding up. And then there was this other huge coincidence that was really funny that I'll explain here in just a second, but you'll see me showing Cammy what I'm listening to right here. This is what I'm listening to. It's just,
I love that. I listened to the album twice yesterday. I was like, this is amazing.
So she's talking about Shinedown, which is my favorite band ever. And this is footage from one of their concerts last October that she sent to me randomly of her favorite song at that concert. And see that arrow right there? Well, that's where I am at that same concert. And so I sent her back this footage, which is my point of view of the exact same song that she sent me footage of, if that makes sense. Anyway, it was just so funny to think we're at the same concert, filming the same exact moment, and then months later we figured this out that we were both there. And anyway, it was just one of those fun coincidences. And I really wish that I could play this song for you in the video, but of course I would get a copyright strike for that. So instead I'm going to link it. It's called A Symptom of Being Human. And I promise, even if you look at that band and think there's no way I would like them, give it a shot. I think you'll really like the song. It's very relatable to, I think, a lot of people. It's just a good song. So check it out in the description. So when I start on a big project like this, all I'm really doing right at first is moving stuff around just to figure out exactly what I'm dealing with, what kinds of categories I'm going to need to make. So for instance, there were a lot of clothes here, and because it's me and I'm a little crazy and love laundry more than life itself, I volunteered to take this laundry home because that was one big thing that I could help her get on top of so that we could clear a lot of this quickly. And so anyway, I started bagging that up, but had to label it. There was some that was dirty, but a lot of it was still clean. So I was just going to take that home and fold it at least so that it, could be put away. But a lot of it was also donate. So I labeled some of the bags donate, but to also make it visually a little easier to identify which was which, I tied a sock around the handle of the garbage bag. You might have seen that orange sock there. So that was just to easily identify that it was the dirty clothes that we were putting in that. I'm about to show you how amazingly talented Cammy's daughter is. I don't even know where it's aimed at right now. Oh, down here. So there we go. That is awesome.
I just like so her. She has these like finger pad things that go in it too. They're not in it right now.
Yeah.
She took them out, but she has little finger so that they're all puffy.
Yeah.
So that they're like actually filled.
Holy.
Can you believe she did that?
No, that's so cool. Isn't that incredible? She's only 16. She's on the spectrum, and this is obviously her special interest. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about my recent break from YouTube and why I felt I needed to take that. And you'll actually get to witness the moment that I sort of lost it and decided to take that break near the end of this video. But I might be a little bit back and forth because I also just wanted to keep you abreast of what is going on in this video. So really quick, I just wanted to show what Cammy is working on while I'm working out in the hallway. So she's just in her closet going through all the clothes that are in there and taking out anything that needs to be donated and just paring this down, clearing the floor. So I'll just kind of switch back and forth between what she's doing, what I'm working on, and yeah. So just to give you a little context of the timeline we're talking about here. So this that you're watching right now was filmed on August 20th. So 2 days prior to this, I had just put out my video of Mira's living room and cleaning that up. And that was the same weekend that Mac had put out the video with his narration of me cleaning Mira's spare room. So anyway, it was supposed to be this big weekend and bring a lot of new subscribers to my channel, a lot of views, and finally, all the hard work and sacrifices that I've made to my mental health, to my home, my yard, my family will finally pay off. And this was going to be just the boost my channel needed to finally start making enough that I could maybe hire some help or offload some of the stuff on my plate. So that was the plan, and it did not do squat to help boost numbers on my channel. And I just went to a really dark place and started thinking things like, there's like 500,000 people that have surely heard about my channel from Mac by now and have just decided for whatever reason that I'm not for them. And so it just, I just took it a little too personally. And when I'm not in a good, healthy state of mind, everything just is worse. And so I know I blew it out of proportion and just was not thinking clearly. And so I just was feeling a little defeated. But I'd already planned on going up to Cammy's to help her with this. And so if you slowed this down, and there will be moments that it is slowed down and you can tell that I am not doing well. Like my words were not coming out well. I couldn't form sentences. I was just exhausted. So add on top of that my super empathetic nature and just taking on the feelings of everyone around me, and then my neurodivergent brain, which has been overstimulated for far too long. It's just been overtaxed beyond anything I've ever experienced in my life. And so all of that added up to just starting off this day already on edge. And so any amount of talking beyond what I was trying to focus on was, I was trying to keep it together, but you'll see me have a moment where I kind of break and have to tell Cammy, look, you need to be quiet, go in the other room. I have to focus on this. And I couldn't even put that into words. And so I kind of signed this to her and tell her, you need to go. But I loved her reaction to this. She's so cute. And that's coming up here in just a few seconds.
But hey,
I'm like, seriously, I'm starting to be
you're
like,
so good. You're so good. Thank you. That's exactly what I needed. Thank you.
And that's what I love about Cammy. She really is a good example of taking feedback because it's not her fault. She loves to talk. She really has just such a fun time talking about anything and everything. And she is so fun to talk to when I have the time to just sit and chat with her. But when I don't, this is the level we've gotten to. I just have to give her the sign and just remind her, my brain is fried. I need some space right now. So she's very respectful of that, and I love that about her. She's also very respectful of my time with my family and other things I have going on. And you'll see an example of that a little bit later in the video. She just always wants to make sure that I don't feel taken advantage of and that she's doing her part and helping as much as possible. And I really appreciate that about her. And yes, I realize I have hardly talked at all about cleaning or organizing so far in this one, but that is not actually the main focus of my channel. That's just kind of part of the deal. But I want this channel to be more about humanity and the things that we all struggle with, because I have a feeling that there are millions of people who are either in Cammy's situation or dealing with burnout like I am and can relate to this. So, and by the way, right here, this is me trying to handle things at home and stuff going on there because yeah, my husband's also going through a bit of a rough time as well. And so I'm trying to keep tabs on him and anyway, you know, the whole wife-mom thing as well. But I think I can sum up what I've been working on here, and that is just putting things into categories. So categories. That is the main thing I'm doing. And you'll see some of those categories at the end.
I just feel like there has to be something wrong with me to have gotten myself into this position.
You know that you've seen like multiple houses in this condition, right? And it's usually a reason. So we're not dwelling on this. It's gonna be okay.
I was just raised not to make excuses for yourself, and it feels like an excuse, even though I lived it. You know, and I know it's true. Well, it sneaks up on you, and you think that you're gonna get better, and so you put things off. You're like, oh, if I can just rest now, like I'll have more energy in the morning. But what if you don't? You know, and that's why I said, like, don't wait to apologize and don't wait to say I love you, because what if you can't? What if you don't get that chance? It's so much better to act for right now. Live the moment. And it's so much easier to take care of something. It's like cleaning a pan when it's still wet. Like pancake mix last night. We made pancakes for dinner. If you stop and you rinse it off, well, the batter's still wet in the bowl. The bowl comes clean a lot faster. And that's just like our homes with the mess in general.
So it might seem like, oh, I'll just do this all at once and that'll save time.
No, you don't know that you're always going to have that option.
Yeah.
Yeah, the option went away. And it shocked me and it sucked. Okay, you are way faster at this. I'm looking at everything, trying to figure out what they all are.
Well, I just got focused on. I mean, I still get a little bit distracted.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be like, oh, okay, now I've got
Right.
batteries. But yeah,
Right, I
for
do
the
that
most part,
too.
I'm like, okay, yeah, Legos. We're focusing on Legos, and I'm like, stay
Smart.
focused, Bonnie, stay focused.
That's what I need to do. Think about what I'm doing.
I just realized that if this is the first video you've seen of Cammy's house, you're probably wondering what's up with the backpack and why she's wearing that. It's for the food for her feeding tube because she had to have a feeding tube placed due to some health issues. And I'm not going to go into all of those here because if you have seen the other videos in this series, you probably are like, okay, we heard, we know, yeah, we got it. So if you want to know more about that, go back and watch the other videos in this series. But that's what it's for. It's for the feeding tube. And that's what you're going to hear beeping here in just a second.
It feels good to help.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that seriously don't
I feel like it's stronger. But, like, I just get worn out. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like I just have to take breaks. And I also have to make sure that that goes to something. I just have to make sure that I have something left tomorrow.
Yeah. Seriously, please be done whenever you need to.
I need to take a break in a minute. Just because I'm. It is weird. I just need some time to cover up. I'm not hungry.
And it's remembering stuff like this that makes me feel grateful and look at my blessings instead of the things that are going wrong. Stuff like the fact that I don't have to have a feeding tube and that my health is generally pretty good. Yeah, my back hurts sometimes, my neck hurts sometimes, but overall I feel pretty good. So there is that. So this that I'm trying to get off right here was actually a photograph that I don't know what is making it stick to the surface, but I tried to get it off with the Goo Gone, and probably if I had let it soak a little bit longer or put a damp cloth on there, it would have come off, but I didn't have time to mess with it. I just gave up and was like, you know what, it's just gonna have to stay there for now. If she wants to work on it, great, but I was done messing with it. And then here's a little progress on the closet and how things are coming along in there. So we're finally getting down to some bare floors, which was exciting. And my plan was take all of the laundry home, get it washed in the day in between that I had before I was coming back. And then I was going to come back, finish this up, probably clean the carpets, help her finish her closet, and then call it good. Best book ever. Little did I know that I was going to completely lose my mind in between, have a complete meltdown, and not be able to return to finish this. So the footage at the end of this day that I thought was just going to be the progress footage and I'll be back to finish it is actually going to be the end of what I was able to do here. So I brought back the clean laundry and dropped it off and just had a long talk with her about, like, I have to take a break. I need to just stop and take care of my mental health. Otherwise, I'll just never be able to recover from this. And she was so supportive of that. And I just love what she says right here about taking responsibility for this mess.
Yeah, we have to change our whole attitude in this house. Our whole attitude has to stop. We have to stop and be present in the moment and realize we're walking away from messes. And we have to pick them up in the moment and be patient long enough to take 30 seconds to put something away, stopping what we're doing and putting something away like a sane human being, you know? And I don't think that's been happening at all. And it's become a systemic problem and then I got sick too. So it was like a combination of things. Because there's obviously bad habits. You know what I mean? It doesn't get like this without bad habits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good habits will prevent it. I'm not afraid of saying we have bad habits. You can't have bad habits and have both parents be sick.
Do you see why I love her and why I love talking with her when I have the time to? She's just got a lot of wisdom. She's been through a lot. She's learned a lot. I especially love that she just is taking accountability for this and is like, you know, I can't blame this on anyone else. We had a huge part to play in this. And yes, there were things that happened that made it worse, but if we had had better habits in the first place, it wouldn't have gotten to this state. And I think that is one of the biggest steps to lasting change is taking accountability for your actions where you can. And I am trying to take a page from her playbook and take accountability for my burnout, because as much as I want to blame other people for causing this, I had a lot to do with it too. There were things that I could have done to mitigate that. But I'm also learning a ton about myself and about how my brain works. So now that I know, I'm going to do things a little differently. That might be where I end, because I'm trying my best to like get out when I say I'm going to get out. So
you need to, and then your family knows, hey, if mom says that she's going to be home by such and such time, she will be.
Or at least that I left by a certain time.
Right. I support that. Your family relationships are important. So. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm just going to sit down right here for just a second. I feel guilty doing it while you're moving around.
You're fine. You're fine.
I just started realizing, like, oh man, my legs are getting sore and stuff, and it's not so much that I'm not capable of movement as much as that I slowly had become more still to accommodate my body and didn't realize. That's just it. Like, you get sick gradually and you don't realize how much less and less you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's understandable.
And I don't want people to see, like, me just calling for help and then getting it and everything's magically okay. I want people to see that I have to work to keep it up.
Yeah. I think that's important too.
I want them to see them trying to do what I can and take ownership of my part in it, because I contributed to this. Absolutely. It may not all be my fault, but enough of it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, and that's, again, why you're not a victim or stuck in a victim mentality, because you're like, I contributed to this and I can help myself get out of it, but
Right.
you know, you still have limitations. It's just...
Yeah, but I want to see people's... I would like the idea of somebody also seeing me overcome, like, doing it with limitations. Still having the limitations, but trying.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. That is the end of the wisdom that you get from Cammy today. But I do have the progress / actually after footage for you of what I was able to get done. So categories like the toys, dog stuff, papers and office supply type things, self-care items, and then like home improvement type things. Plus I had a couple of bins of things that go other places in the home, like the kitchen or the garage or whatever it is. Anyway, there is your better than it was footage. But I am happy to report that they are continuing to work on this on their own. And the outro of this video, it's going to show her husband working on some stuff in the closet as well. So of course there's still the matter of the laundry, which I did do. And the rest of this video is dedicated to doing that laundry. And you might be wondering why you would want to stick around to watch me do a bunch of laundry, but I will give you 3 reasons. First of all, you might like it more than you think you do. It's pretty satisfying and even relaxing to watch for whatever reason. I didn't even know I liked it so much until I started watching myself fold laundry, and I never get sick of it. But anyway, second reason is I'm going to be making some announcements as to some changes I'll be making with my channel in order to run it in a way where I don't lose my mind. And then thirdly, I will be pointing out the exact moment that I lost my mind because it happened while I was doing laundry, ironically, and I'll tell you more about what happened, but I did want to pause here and just show you all the different washing machines that I had going, because I had not only Cammy's stuff, but some of Mira's clothes as well. And so I had to label them to make sure I didn't get them mixed up. Plus Mira has, some that are tumble dried and some that are hang dry. And then I had some donate stuff that I wanted to wash before we donate it. So, and this was kind of funny to be filming at a laundromat. And yeah, I did get some weird looks. And even a new subscriber, because the lady that worked there was asking what I was filming. And I told her, and she checked it out and was watching videos while I was there. So kind of funny. But I thought it might be kind of fun to see the whole process from beginning to end, from washing them, drying them, taking them home, hanging some, separating them, folding it. So you get to see my sad attempt at trying to do this laundry outside. So here's a picture of just about everything I brought home. There's a couple bags that you can't see there, but anyway, it was a pretty windy day, and it looked nice outside, and I had this great idea to put down some tarps. I guess technically it was plastic sheeting, new plastic sheeting, so it was clean, but I put that on top of our swim spa, and I thought it would be fun to fold this outside, but it proved to be too much of a challenge. So I did sort it out there, and that made it a little bit easier to have all of that room to sort. Plus I still had to hang up some of Mira's clothes out there. But anyway, you can see my camera getting knocked around in the wind, so I just gave up on this idea and took it inside. So here is all of Cammy's stuff that I decided to separate out and pile up just so you can get an idea of the amount of stuff I'm folding. So while you enjoy watching me fold this laundry, let me just lay out some of the changes that I'm needing to make in order to keep doing this channel in a healthier way so my mental health is in a good place and I can do a little bit more self-care. Anyway, these are the things that I have to do. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to continue it. So I did put this in a community post last week, so this might be repeat information for some of you, but for those that did not see that, let me just lay it out here. And also pay attention to how many times I check my phone while I'm folding this laundry, because this is one of the contributors to my slow decline into madness. Okay, so I think most of you know by now the struggle that I have with comments and both wanting to reply to every single comment there is, because I really appreciate all of my subscribers and viewers, but also I struggle with negative comments every once in a while, and it does not happen very often, and it still shocks me when it does happen because, my channel is about spreading some kindness, and so I never thought that it would be a problem. But unfortunately, when you have a channel that's viewed by thousands of people every day, you're bound to get a few negative comments here and there. So on a good day, I can handle that, but I never know what my state of mind is going to be. And so some days when I see those comments, it just derails my day. And so if I can avoid seeing them, I will do what I can to not see them at all. So here is the solution that I have come up with, because I can only use the filters I have available to me through YouTube, and these are the filters that I have. So I already knew that I could filter it by channel member status and any super thanks to make sure I say thank you for those. But that public subscribers, I misunderstood as meaning that those were the subscribers to my channel, and it's not what it means. And I won't go into what that means, but unfortunately, I can't just filter out the subscribers to my channel and respond to them, because, you know, if I could do that, subscribers are less likely to leave negative comments. But unfortunately, that is not an option. So in order to minimize the chances that I see those negative comments, are two things that I've done. First, I have added a very affordable membership level that is just 99 cents a month, and that just ensures that I see your comment and reply to it. The other two membership levels have stayed the same, except for the supporter level I have added that you are included with the members only lives. So I just wanted to make it possible for more people to become members so that I can communicate with you more through the comments. But if you truly can't afford to be a member, it's okay. You don't need to be. And there's still a possibility that I will see your comment, and here is how you can do that. So if you just go and add a heart emoji anywhere in your comment, like you see here, I can filter it out by that heart emoji, and I am more likely to see it and respond to it. But I can't make any promises because, you know, there are some days that I'm going to just be slammed with other things going on, and I'm just not able to get to all of those. But I love to read your comments when I have time, so still leave them. I still really enjoy seeing those, and I love when you guys interact with each other too and answer each other's questions and help each other out. So that means a lot to me. I just love this community. So anyway, that will help me more than you can even know. I really appreciate that. Okay, we are almost to the moment where I completely break. And it actually happened when my son Jonas walked in and I started talking to him, because I'd been thinking a lot while I'd been folding laundry. And so when he walked in, I call him my YouTube advisor because he's just really good at talking me through a lot of ideas and things that I have. And so when he walked in, I just was like, I am done. I am done. I have had it. I can't do this anymore. And so this is still shots of me having my mental breakdown and just telling Jonas, I can't do this all anymore. I am overworked, overstimulated. My phone keeps clicking. People keep needing stuff that I can't do. I have too many requests for help right now. I just can't do it all anymore. So it was shortly after this that I was like, I need to be done and take an actual break or be done for good. And I didn't know at that point what I was going to be able to do. But fortunately, I have figured out some ways to manage this better. And with your help with the comments, and also probably taking some paid jobs in between some of the free cleanings that I do, that will also help a lot, I think, because as much as I love to help other people and do the free cleanings, I now realize that it really takes a toll on me because of the empathetic nature that I have. So I have to give myself a break in between so that I can show up better for them when I do those free cleanings. So that is my new plan. And here comes a before and after of that laundry, that beautiful, beautiful laundry. And by the way, I am making another video of me folding this just all from that front view. So if you enjoy the laundry folding, there will be another one where I won't be talking, I promise. Okay, don't be alarmed by the guy in the mask in Cammy's closet. This is in fact her husband just doing his part of the decluttering, and I just wanted to show him doing his part as well. So yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with me today and for supporting me in all the ways that you do. I just really appreciate this community. Oh, and make sure you go check out that song, Symptom of Being Human. I think you'll really love it. Thanks, guys. Take care. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.